So we're heading into mid-July. Boro's pre-season camp in Portugal is done, and it seems like finally, Boro are making some moves in the transfer window. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another transfer update here on the channel, and thank God it's a positive one, because it seems like the cogs are finally starting to move down at Rockcliffe. Kieran Scott has woken up out of his hibernation, and we are getting stuff moving, thank God. Two huge developments for two different players, one existing link, one brand new link, over the last 24 hours or so. And I mean, I'm recording this on Saturday night. By the time this drops on Sunday, things might have changed and moved even further, so it is worth keeping that in mind. But first of all, Callum Britain, of course, a player who I mentioned in the last transfer update video we did, was one of three heavily linked players with Boro. The right back from Blackburn, of course, was heavily linked, and it was believed that both Boro and Derby were the two sides with serious interest in him. Boro apparently placed a bid some point this week. Them reports came out yesterday on the Friday, as well as Derby also throwing their name into the ring as well. However, it has since been rumoured and reported that Boro's bid was indeed higher for the right back, and we are the favourites to get him. On top of that, there have been developments from Blackburn's side of things. Apparently, Callum Britain has refused to play for Blackburn in their pre-season friendly today, as again, I record on Saturday the 12th of July. He has apparently made it clear, and this is according to Elliot Jackson, who, as I mentioned in a YouTube short I did, is a journalist from the Blackburn end of things, so you'd have to think he is very reliable. He said Britain has made it clear he would like to speak to Middlesbrough, who are winning the race for his signature. This was backed up further by an interview with Valérien Ismaël after Blackburn's pre-season friendly, where he was asked in quite a lot of detail about Callum Britain, and this is what he said.
We've got an offer on the table. Callum decided not to play today on his own. He took his decision. So I spoke with him. I say clearly I passed this game, but from next week we hope that we got clarity, because we cannot do that every week. So let's see what's happening in the next few days. But yet it's clear that some club are very interested, especially one very interesting on Callum.
Have they agreed a fee with Blackburn?
No,
Rovers?
It's not agreed. It's nothing agreed at the minute. That's why, if it's something agreed, you can take the player out. But at the minute, it's nothing agreed. So the clubs need to understand that Callum is a significant player for us, for me personally as well. So we don't want to let him go. But it's clear that financially the club need to make a deal. If the players still have one year contract, we have to learn from the situation what's happened with Tyrese Dolan. So for sure now we're chasing maybe the mistake from the past. But now we have to think about us. It's about the club. What is the best for the club? If the player wants to go as an offer, but the club has to give the value of the player.
Do you think he wants to go, or do you think if the contract from Blackburn Rovers on the table appeals to him, then there's equally as big a chance that he could stay?
No, he took his decision to go. We made an offer. We made a very big effort for him, and he has an offer he wants to take. So this is a rule in football. So we accept that. It's nothing personal. So we know that. But at some point, everyone has to be happy, and at the minute I think that it's just a question of time now to get to come over the line. If we are not able to go over the line till the middle of the week, he will train and be back with us.
So to be clear, and I want to report this as clearly as we can, has he turned down a contract from Blackburn Rovers because he'd like to go somewhere else?
He didn't accept our offer. Yes, it's right.
Are the club likely to come back with another Valérien?
I think they have to. If they want Callum, they have to come back for a better offer.
Is that what you would want the club to do, to
It's not
make
what
him
I
a
want.
better offer?
It's not what I want to do to see him leaving. I told you he's a very important player, but the club has the right now to think about the financial side, and now it's all about can we make the club happy to get what they want. If we want to make Callum happy, the club has to be happy, and if we've got already the right back. We made already transfer, so we are not in rush at the minute. We are in very good position.
It very much seems like Blackburn have tried. I mean, reports suggested last week they've been trying all summer to strike a new deal with Callum Britain. It's not worked out, and as we know, if he leaves next summer, he'll be going on a free. So if Blackburn want to get any sort of money for him, now is the time to get rid of him. So I think they've tried to get a new deal sorted. It clearly isn't materialising, and the player has now also made his feelings clear. And it seems like Boro have got a bigger bid in than Derby. It seems like it's a case of maybe when and not if with this one. I guess when Boro and Blackburn can come to an agreement, when that deal is hopefully done, things will move pretty quickly. But this one seems positive. It seems like a very, very sensible move from Boro. I think he's 27. He's a right back that isn't too old, but has decent experience in the Championship either, and isn't a sexy name, but I don't think Boro needs sexy names at this moment in time. I think we need them sort of players, them, as I mentioned, hardened pros in the Championship, who I think will give us that little bit of steel. And it seems like with the other link we've got going, we are maybe building from the back, which is another thing I think a lot of fans have discussed as well. So it very much seems like Callum Britain is Boro bound unless something huge changes. So hopefully he'll be the first signing through the door. The second link came out the blue, and it was for another defender. It came from Hull City's end, Hull City Live. So again, reputable from the side of the player that we are discussing. And they reported that Boro have informed Hull City of their interest in centre-back Alfie Jones. A potential £2 million offer has been discussed, and Hull are unlikely to turn down an offer in that region. So maybe Boro have a good idea of what will get Hull moving with this one. Again, another defender who's not super young but not super old. Seems to be right in that period of their career where they are in their prime years, which again I think is fantastic that Boro, we always keep an eye on bringing in young players, and all that should continue to be a huge priority for us. But I think that little bit of experience at the back especially, that little bit of solidity, defensive nous, hopefully is what we're going to get from some of the players that have been linked. And again, as I mentioned, building from the back. So all that is really exciting. 2.5 million for Callum Britain, 2 million for Alfie Jones. We'll see how both these moves develop over the next week. So as always, we'll quickly just take a look at an article from Dom Shaw, who will obviously go into this in more detail. So we'll skim through this just for any added details. Of course, as you guys know, Dom Shaw and the Northern Echo are incredibly reliable when it comes to Boro. So he refers to Callum Britain and Alfie Jones. Transfer boosts is the word that he uses. He says Middlesbrough have been handed a major boost in their pursuit of Callum Britain, with the defender missing Blackburn's opening pre-season friendly of the summer and making basically clear his desire to speak to Boro. Boro tabled an offer for the right back, and while Rovers are yet to officially respond, Britain has now made it clear to Ewood Park, the Ewood Park Chiefs, that he's interested in a move to the Riverside. Derby County have also bid for the 27-year-old, with John Eustace keen to reunite with the defender, who was a key part of his Blackburn side, of course, last season. But Boro are in pole position, according to our sister paper, the Lancashire Telegraph. Britain has now moved into the last 12 months of his contract at Blackburn, who were hopeful they could agree an extension with the right back at the start of the summer, which we've mentioned, but there's now a reluctant acceptance at Ewood Park that an agreement will not be reached with Britain, with Valérien Ismaël saying today it's clear that financially the club needs to make a deal because of his contract, which of course we heard him discuss earlier. Britain has emerged as Boro's leading target at right back, of course. Definitely a priority position for us, with only really Luke Ayling playing in that position. Still don't know if that means we're going to play with a back four or a back three. We'll have to take a look at that when we start to see pre-season in a week or so's time. But it mentions that right back is a transfer priority for Riverside officials. The defender is coming off the back of his best season of his career and was an integral part for Blackburn, who finished above Boro in the Championship, let's not forget. Boro's offer remains on the table, and while a deal has not yet been agreed, Ismaël has pleaded for clarity and called on Blackburn Chiefs to ensure the matter is resolved in the coming weeks. So a sensible thing, I would say, from Blackburn's end with Ismail, basically saying, yeah, let's just get this deal done. Let's get him out the door. He clearly doesn't want to be here. We don't want a disruptive player in and around the squad who doesn't want to play. Let's get him gone. So Boro are keen to get it done. As a Blackburn, you'd like to hope this one won't take very long. He then obviously quotes through some of the other stuff that Ismail said in the interview that we went through earlier, we put on the screen earlier in the video, and he then moves on to discuss Alfie Jones and says, in another encouraging development, Boro have held positive discussions with Hull City over Alfie Jones. Boro are understood to be long-term admirers of Jones, who has been a stable and consistent presence at the heart of Hull's defence for a number of years. City's vice-captain started 37 of their 46 games last season, which hopefully tells us he is fit and can play quite frequently. Interesting there that it says Boro are understood to be long-term admirers, because, of course, question marks have been asked in regards to how much of these signings are, brand new targets that Rob Edwards wants for his style of play, how many of them might be signings Boro have had their eye on for a long time, because we'd like to hope, as Boro and Kieran Scott have mentioned many times over the last few years, Boro like to recruit regardless of manager, regardless of style, and this one seems like it is a player Boro have looked at for a long time. Hull are aware of Boro's interest, he follows on, and although talks are at an early stage, a £2 million move has been discussed, and the Tigers, currently under a transfer embargo, which they've confirmed they are not appealing against, would be unlikely to reject an offer in that region. So that's another good point there. Hull probably need as much money as they can get because they can't exactly sign anybody. And they're under a transfer embargo. Strengthening the centre of defence was always in Boro's thinking this summer, regardless of what happens with in-demand Rav van den Berg, who is attracting interest in the Premier League and Germany, where Stuttgart, Wolfsburg and Werder Bremen are all keen. So regardless of if Rav stays or goes, Alfie Jones has been a player we've been keen on for a while. Edmondson, Lenihan and Fry have all endured injury struggles last season, and the latter two are out of contract next summer. Another good point, Lenihan and Dale Fry. So Boro may need to be looking ahead beyond next season, maybe even with what they're doing right now in the market. He then finishes by saying Boro returns to the UK on Sunday after their week-long training camp in Portugal ended with a behind-closed-doors friendly on Saturday. Boro went down 1-0 to CD Santa Clara. Rob Edwards out, we lost. But Boro boss Rob Edwards was encouraged by lots of what he saw in the game, and there is quotes from him and an interview on Boro's website. So, yeah, positive news. Finally, movement has been made, and I find it interesting that we are looking at defenders. That's good, I would say. We need to improve all over the pitch, of course we do, but I'm encouraged by Boro building from the back. I'm encouraged by the type of players we're getting. They seem just solid. They seem like they'll do a very, very good job for us, and they will strengthen us and maybe raise the depth of the squad as well, which is being questioned, rightfully so. So these are two very good links, and I'm very happy with them, and I do not mind Boro getting our defence set before we maybe start looking towards the top end of the pitch. But of course, there's still lots of work to do. 100% we're all aware of that, but at least things are starting to finally get moving in the right direction, we hope, and we'll see what happens this week with incomings and of course if there's any movement on Hackney or Rav. And in regards to that, if you guys want to stay updated on everything Boro, of course subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't already. I do loads of Boro content, look at the news, look at the transfers, preview the season, we do podcasts, we do a lot over here, as well as generic football stuff as well on the Championship. So subscribe if that all sounds intriguing to you, and if not already, like the video and subscribe and comment below with your thoughts on these two potential new signings for the Boro. And until next time guys, do take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.